Happy days. Okay. All right. Um, Hi Georgia. Welcome to Too Much Information. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Thanks for asking. Hardly anyone ever does, so
Just
nice
nice
one.
to nice what host is doing.
Straight up. All right. Yeah, so straight up. All right. Yeah, so like I kind of gave you a little bit of a rundown. I generally start with kind of family upbringing. What was your upbringing like? Have you got brothers and sisters, that kind of thing?
Yes, it's a very, very busy household. There is quite a few siblings. Um, my mum and my dad had two children. Me, I'm the oldest one, and then my sister.
Right.
Um, they split, and then they both had children with separate partners. Uh,
Okay.
so we've got lots of siblings around.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And did you stay with your mum or your dad?
I stayed with my mum. I stayed with my
Okay,
mum, and then I'd visit my dad at weekends.
fair play. And so how many siblings are in your mum's house then?
So there's me and my sister that my mum and my dad had,
Yeah,
and then my mum had one with my stepdad.
big fair.
Um, my dad had two with his partner
Okay.
as well. So
Wow.
there's
So
five
yeah.
of total.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And you're the oldest.
I am the oldest.
That's interesting. That's interesting. I like to speak to older siblings to see how did you find? Did you find that you had a lot of responsibility put on your shoulders pretty early,
I don't.
or
I
did you
don't
put it
think
on your own shoulders?
yeah, I did put it on my own shoulders, but I don't think I had it actually put on my shoulders. It was just
Fair
me
play.
subconsciously, child.
Yeah, taking responsibility
So
and saying, yeah, it's my job to take care of everyone.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But my sister is very she almost acts older than me. It's quite
Okay.
funny. Taller than me as well. Everyone's taller than me. I'm the short one. So yeah, I think there's a lot of sharing between me and my sister. There's a lot of sharing there.
Hmm.
Of responsibilities. We're both quite independent, but at the same
Right.
time, we're both out for each
Really
other a little.
close. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's a nice
Good.
relationship.
Yeah, that's good to hear. Good to hear. Like, it would be pretty shit if you and your sister weren't didn't get on with each other, huh?
No, no. I mean, we had bickers as sisters
Everyone
do growing
does.
up, but
Yeah,
everyone does. It
yeah, yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
be right otherwise, would
Exactly
it?
that. Exactly that. All right. So, kind of, how did you deal with the kind of your parents splitting up? Was that a monumental thing in your life, or was it something that kind of just
Yeah,
happened and
for me it was. My sister, because she was younger, didn't quite understand what was going on as much, so she just went
yeah,
about her life. But I was older, so I sort of paid attention to more. I understood what was going on.
right,
And yeah, it was hard, but you adjust to it, you get used to it, and
yeah,
that just becomes the normality for
yeah, yeah.
your life, really.
Fair, fair play, fair play. All right. Um, all right. So school, was this around school time when your parents split, or was it like how old were you at that
I
split?
was I was 4 and my sister was 2.
Ah, so it's just
Yeah,
before you're
we
starting kind of like going into school. Do you think
yeah.
it affected you in any way going into school?
Yeah, I mean, my mum would say to me, I'd have good days and bad days, and I would sometimes come out of school a bit angry and emotional, and then other days I'd be really high and energetic and
Right,
really good day,
right.
so bit of a mix. bit of a mix.
Okay, what would you say you was like at school? Would you say you was you a popular kid? Was you a loud kid? You seem pretty confident. You seem pretty comfortable speaking to new people. So, have you always been
Well,
like that?
that's really nice of you to say, because this time a year ago I definitely wasn't.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So in school I was very to myself, very to myself. I'd have friends in school and I'd play with them, but I wasn't really. I never put myself out there. Secondary school more so than primary.
Right.
Secondary school I was very to myself, and I would go home every day. I'd stick Beyonce on. I'd do her dance routines in my bedroom, and that was my way of being me at that time.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, I was all right through school.
Yeah. Yeah. What was your favorite subject at school?
Oh gosh, probably art. It was the only one I didn't switch off in. It was the only one I didn't get
Yeah.
bored in.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a creative person, so
Okay.
doing art was like a nice little bit of peace and quiet. It was
Fair.
a fun lesson because the teacher was fun,
Mm,
and there was a lot of personalities in my art class, so that sort of brought that out in me a little bit. I could
yeah.
bounce off of that. The other
Yeah.
classes were a bit more
Yeah.
focused. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I think that goes along. I think the teacher goes a long way to kids enjoying the class. Do you know what I mean? I think if the teacher kind of knows how to connect with, I don't know, maybe not all kids, because I suppose all kids get connected with differently. But I know for me, especially when the classes that I enjoyed at school were the classes that I liked the teacher. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
All the
yeah,
class, and that was only one, kind of similar to you, really.
yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I had amazing memories from the science lessons. They were
Yeah.
funny. I had some
Mm,
funny lessons in science.
yeah.
But I did switch off in science because I just found it boring.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So sorry, anyone that enjoys science, you're very smart, but I'm not so smart.
Don't say that. You know what I mean? No, but yeah. As I said, I think it is one of those things where, you know, everyone is different and everyone kind of needs to find where their strengths lie. And
Yeah,
obviously
definitely.
creativity is where you kind of found your, I don't know, peace. I don't know if peace is too dramatic of a word, but do you know what I mean? Your
I,
enjoyment or whatever.
yeah, yeah. I did a lot of art and crafts in lockdown actually because I wasn't
How is
allowed
it?
to go out. So it sort
Yeah.
of it helped kill the time. I could just do what I want, even if it was rubbish. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
What sort of stuff was
it's
you
good.
making?
I enjoy it. It was more just like sketches
Oh,
and paintings, really. I did a whole Disney page of different Disney characters. That
oh
was
wow.
fun.
Yeah.
Um,
You're a Disney fan then, yeah?
yeah, sorry.
You're a Disney fan?
I am a Disney fan. I am a Disney fan. It does
Yeah.
annoy my boyfriend a lot. Can't help but singing the songs around the house.
Uh, I literally have only got into just because my daughter's two, so I've literally just started getting into all the ones that I never watched. So it's not as bad as I thought it was, to be fair. Tell him to give it a
They're
chance.
not as bad. Yeah.
Oh dear. Okay, so at school you'd say you was kind of to yourself, but like kind of you was able to kind of step out of yourself if the environment kind of allowed it. If the people were um if you was around more energetic and more social people, you'd be more social. Is that fair? Oh, can you hear me still?
Sorry, I lost the signal on that. I missed the whole last bit.
Okay. No, I was just saying, like, so would you say that at school you was kind of like you was kind of to yourself, but if you were in an environment that kind of people were social and people were kind of out there a bit, you could kind of explore that side of yourself a little bit more? You say that was like a fair assessment of how school was for you?
Yeah, that sounds fair. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Really.
All right. So when we spoke before, I remember you talking about like performing arts. Well, I read, should I say, rather than we spoke, but I read that that's something that you're interested in. That's something that is your passion. When did that become part of your story?
When I was about 2 or 3.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I was obsessed with music as a baby. We always had the award shows on at home, like the Brit Awards, the Grammys, etc. And I was just so fascinated by all these people performing. And I was like, I want to do that. I want to do that. And then I got put in dance lessons when I was about 5.
Right.
About 5 years old, I got put in dance lessons.
Yeah.
And then I just fell in love with it. I was learning these dances and I was going on stage and I loved it, got all the costumes I wanted. And that really, it boosted my confidence. Because a lot of performers say this, are naturally really shy, and that is me. I'm a naturally shy person. And then you put me on a stage and I'm completely different.
Okay.
I just let I do what I want on the stage, and it's fun. It's really fun. And then I changed dance school when I was 9. And it was the best thing I did. And I was only there for 2 years, because then I started understanding. At the time, I didn't know what it was, but I started understanding. I was.
Hold on. It's frozen.
Anxiety hit hard at that age.
Sorry, I missed. It cut off as soon as you said I started to understand. So I missed all of that. So do you mind saying that again? Sorry.
Yeah, I started to understand a lot about anxiety, and that's learning about it and learning about myself. I was starting early puberty and going through all the shifts. So I quit the dance school.
Right.
And I would just dance at home. I would go home. I would learn the Beyonce routine and the Michael Jackson routines. I would go home and I'd do the 2-hour concerts in my room, drive my mum insane. Yeah. And then I joined back to my dance school in September this year.
Oh wow. So what style of dance are we talking here? Are we talking like Strictly Come Dancing, like ballroom and that sort of stuff, or what are we talking about?
So I'm not doing ballroom. However, I absolutely love Strictly Come Dancing, and I would love to do it. I love nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing more than to do Strictly. I'm obsessed with that program.
Yeah.
But we do more of like hip hop, tap, ballet,
right,
learning technique and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I did perform in 2 amateur productions, musicals last year.
Oh wow! Which ones?
Wizard of
Oz and which one?
Hairspray.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Must have been fun.
Yeah, I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
How did you go about getting into that? Sorry to cut you. I was saying, how did you go about getting into that production?
So back in 2020, we was in lockdown, and I was studying performing arts at college.
Right.
And my mum actually saw an advert for a local theatre to us.
Right.
They were holding auditions for Wizard of Oz. And I said, oh, do you know what? I'll do it. I'll build experience up. I'm studying performing arts, so any work experience I can get in that field, the better.
Definitely.
And then because of COVID, it had to keep getting pushed back. So it was supposed to go on December 2020,
right?
And it didn't end up going on stage until July 2021.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so there was a lot of rehearsals for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that better?
Um,
Was that better or was that worse? Is it like you had more time to kind of get confident, or was it more time to think that kind of made you more nervous? I don't know. Which way around do you think that extra time affected it?
I have probably had a mixed amount of time really with that. I had some days that I felt confident, oh, I just want to do this now. And then there was other days like, oh, maybe we should have an extra rehearsal. I had a bit
Yeah.
of both
Yeah.
going on, uh, but it gave us time to sort of adjust the show where we needed it in places. It gave us, yeah, more time to rehearse, which was good,
Yeah.
and get it perfect.
Hmm.
Uh, and that was good fun. And just like that, the week was over of them
Yeah.
shows. Started the next musical, which was Hairspray.
Was that with the same people or?
That was with the same people, yeah. That
Oh,
was.
good.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
By that point, I'd built up like a working relationship with the people there. I recognised faces. I was a bit more settled in,
Hmm.
and I could push myself a little bit more.
Sounds like sounds really positive, to be fair. All right. So obviously, like at the moment, the performing arts isn't necessarily paying the bills. So what? Where did you get from? Kind of school and I don't know, being at home, doing your routines at home, like then you obviously somehow you got to get into the world of work. Like what? Obviously, everyone's got bills to pay or everyone's got things to do. So it's like, what was your journey into the work that you do?
So, do you mean my day job? Sorry.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So I started off working in Pizza Hut,
Okay.
and that was not paying my bills at all. It didn't work out for me there. I didn't have
Yeah.
a great experience there. I was only there for about a month and a half, I think, because I was struggling a lot there.
Right.
Um, and then I moved on to Vodafone. I went and worked in Vodafone for 3 months probation.
Yeah.
And that job, similar sort of thing, but I'd hit quite a low point with anxieties.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get myself up for work. I was stressing about work
Wow.
a lot. So I left Vodafone, and my boyfriend's boss offered me a self-employed role at his company,
Oh, wow.
and I've been working there ever since. And I've really enjoyed that one. I've met the
Yeah.
rest of the team there now, and I feel a lot more settled in than I did
Yeah.
8 months ago, and it's good. It's good fun. Yeah.
Happy days. Happy days. Okay. All right. Um, let me think. Let me think.
Have a think.
Yeah, all right. So let's do the segue. So you mentioned your boyfriend. How long have you been with your boyfriend for?
Over a year now. I can't
Yeah.
actually remember the month. What month is it? He sat next to me. What month is it?
August.
No, now.
Oh, I don't know.
We've lost count. We've done the first year, and now all the counting's gone out the window.
All right, all right. So you've been with him for over a year.
Yeah.
I know it's more going to be more awkward now. He's sitting there, but what's he like? What's he like as a person? How does he treat you? What's obviously, you know what I mean? He's got to be half decent, but you know what I mean. Let's have a.
Yeah, he's all right. He's all right. He's not that bad. Yeah. No, he's great. He's really great. I can't speak
That's
any
what I'm
highly.
doing. Good
Yeah.
stuff. Good
Yeah.
stuff.
He's helped me
Good
a
stuff.
lot. Looked after me a lot.
Okay. So you say you're in love then?
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. So that's going to make this next question a bit easier to answer. So,
Okay.
what is love?
That was the easier question to answer. Oh, what is love? Somebody who supports you.
Mm-hmm.
If you're having a good time or a bad time, a shoulder to cry on, which is always helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who annoys you so much, that's love. That is true love. That. But no, someone who looks after you if you're poorly, if you're down, if you're happy, if you're crossing the road, he holds your hand. And yeah, does just nice things for you.
Good stuff. There you go. There you go, mate. Danny doing a good job over there. Mr. Out of the screen. All right. Okay. And just to flip it, what's the most painful thing that someone has ever said to you?
Oh, that's a tough question, because it was probably something that happened to me in school that I probably won't remember. I remember an action happening, not so much words.
Okay, I'll take it.
So I was chased into a toilet cubicle on a lunch break.
Yeah.
And I had one of those little tiny bottles of fizzy flavoured water in my lunchbox.
Right.
I was chased into a toilet cubicle and the girls chucked the drink over the toilet door.
Right.
And I was drenched in this sticky drink. And it was a warm month. It was like springtime, so that's when all the insects and bugs are coming out. And I was so uncomfortable for the rest of the day. I went and hid in in my form tutor's like closet part of the classroom. And I had to sit there for the whole last period of the day, because I was so embarrassed that I was drenched. And that hit me a lot, and it worried me to go into school.
I bet. I'm not surprised at all. That's not surprising. That's crazy. Are these people that were in your class? Are these people that were just in the school, or are they just general just bullies, or did they have a specific issue with you? Or
it was actually my group of friends at the time, and I think they thought they were just being funny,
right?
And I don't think they meant it to worry me that much. I don't think that was their intentions at the time. You know, we're 13 years old. They probably thought it was funny. Yeah, that's how I look at it now. But back when I was 13, I was
no way would you look at it like that. Yeah. Okay. All right. What's the best advice that you've ever been given?
No, I know this one. It was my grandparents live in Wales, so we go to visit them every couple of months when we can. Right. And they've got a best friend out there called Pat, and her husband Jeff, he passed away in 2019. But before the year he passed, a few months before, we went to visit them, and we went to go and say hello to Pat and Jeff. And this was when I was umming and ahhing with myself about studying performing arts at college. Right. Because it was something I always wanted to do, but I didn't know if I was too old to study it at the time. I didn't know if I was going to be any good at it. I had all these umming and ahhing. And I went and I spoke to Pat and Jeff, and Pat walked out at one point. I think she went to go and make drinks or whatever. And Jeff came up to me and he said to me, do it, because otherwise you'll regret it, and follow your dreams, even if nothing comes of it.
Bless him.
So that's a nice touching one. That.
Yeah, good on Jeff. Good on him. That is a great bit of advice. All right, so this one's kind of similar, but who's the most influential person in your life and why?
Now, a lot of people would say they're family members. So, mum and dad, if you're watching, I love you, but it's not you. It's it's actually Beyonce, and that wouldn't come to all of my family at all. They will probably all know that I was going to say her. Right. I have followed that woman since I was 7.
Wow.
And I know all of her routines. I know all of her songs. I've been to 2 of her concerts. Wow. I'm obsessed, absolutely obsessed. And I watch all of her interviews. And so listening to her story is I try and pass it on to so many people to try and get them to like Beyonce as much as me. It's very influential.
No, I hear some amazing things about her live show. That she's like, it's next level stuff that she's doing. So
Yeah, she's great.
uh,
I could talk about Beyonce all day long.
all right, we'll come back to Beyonce then. We'll come back to Beyonce.
Okay.
All right. What scares you the most about yourself?
Oh, what scares me the most about myself? Oh, I don't know.
That's what I like. I was starting to think my questions were easy for a minute until we finally got the reaction I was looking for. This is what I look for when I ask these questions. I'm like, hey.
I've not been asked that question before. What scares me about myself? I'll have to come back to you on that one because
That's
I don't.
all right, no problem. And then, all right, what's the best quality about yourself?
The best quality is that I'm creative, I'll say, because before I studied performing arts, I studied media makeup, so that's all the makeup for TV and film.
Okay.
We did all the pretty makeups that you see on social media, but then we did all the cuts and bruises.
Oh wow.
And then I did a little mini course in nails.
Right.
So I started doing that on the side to earn some money. Started up my own little company, a little business.
Yeah.
And I did some nails for the local ladies in my area.
Okay. So you're not squeamish then?
Not squeamish.
No.
No, I don't think so. I was, but I'm not as bad now.
Okay.
Not as bad now. I know how film and TV works. I'm not as bad.
No, I hear you. I think sometimes even I watch these things and I just think, geez, you catch yourself for a minute until you remember, oh yeah, no, it's only a TV show. It's not real. Okay, what else was I gonna say? I was gonna say, are you more of a reader or more of a film person?
I loved books growing up, but I also loved films growing up. So I wouldn't say either or.
Okay.
But I love both. I love both.
All right then. What we do then, I'll let you choose. Give me one of each. Give me one book that I have to read and one film that I have to see.
A film that you have to see. Oh God,
before you say, if I've seen it already, I will tell you, and then you'll have to find another one.
Okay, no problem. A film that you have to see. I, Tonya.
Ooh. Why do I feel like I haven't seen it, but I feel like I've seen, is that the one about the skater or something?
Yeah, that's the one.
Ah, okay. I feel like my missus has seen that. I feel like she's the one that recommended that to me. Okay. Why do I need to see it? Why is it brilliant?
It's a true story on Tonya Harding and the whole scandal with the knee injury with the other ice skater.
Right.
And it's her life story, how she got into figure skating and just everything. It covers everything. And it's played by Margot Robbie, who I just think is amazing.
She changes. It's like none of her two films. She's the same person, and either like she's a different person in every film. It's so difficult to do that, I think.
Yeah, it is, and that's how you know you've got a good one on your hands. And let me think of I've got to think of a Tom Hardy one now because I'm obsessed with that man. I am obsessed. I won't tell my boyfriend though. Legend. Have you seen Legend?
Which one's that one? Is that the Craze?
Yeah.
I have seen that one.
I cannot speak highly enough of that film.
That is a good film. It is a good film. Have you seen Bronson?
Yes.
Yeah. You're definitely a Tom Hardy fan then. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, let's come back to that question I asked you before. What scares you the most about yourself?
Probably the fact that deep down, I know I'm talented at these things. I know I'm good at nails. I know I'm good at makeup. I know I'm good at dancing, but I don't like admitting it.
Okay.
Because it's that thing of I don't want to say, oh yeah, I'm good at this, because then I don't want people to think, oh, look at her.
She thinks she's all this and that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You definitely need to throw that. You need to throw that right in the bin. You need to sing it from the rooftops. So I forgot to nails. So you said you do nails, yeah?
I do.
Is it something that you do out of a shop? Is it something you do mobile? Is it something that
I worked in a little salon. I rented space in a salon around the corner from my house for about 8 months or so.
right?
And then lockdown hit, so I had to take a pause for it. But I was lucky because I could still have my nails done, so I could do them for me and my sister. So that it helped me practice it even more. Yeah. And then I just started offering it out to friends and family. And then I rebranded earlier this year, and this was before I got the job at my boyfriend's place. It was after I left Vodafone. I was thinking, what am I going to do now? And I managed to get a new logo done. I got a new pricing done, and I was getting clients through the door. And then I got offered the self-employed role. And so I took that.
So is that something you still do, or is that something that you still
here
do
and there? Here and there. It's not as on the go as it was before. But I'm still doing it. Yeah.
Enjoy. Okay. All right. One question. You get to ask me any question at all. No rules, no barriers, no anything. What do you want to know?
Did you get into podcasting?
Ooh, okay. All right. I've always watched podcasts. Well, not always. Obviously, there was a time where there weren't podcasts, but you know what I mean. I've watched them for a long time before I started doing them, and I used to watch like the Joe Rogan podcast, a couple of other podcasts. I like long conversations. Maybe because I'm nosy, maybe because I was raised as an only child. I don't know. So so I've always liked podcasts, and then I saw there's a channel on YouTube called Soft White Underbelly.
All right.
And he talks to some people that live in like in Skid Row in LA, which is like a whole city town with loads of homeless people and drug addicts, and it's just like a real crazy place. And he interviews a lot of people from there, but at the time I remember watching it and thinking, oh, he's taking advantage of these people, and he only talks to people with the craziest of stories, like their parent died when they were 2, and then this happened and then that happened. You look at it, you just think, bloody hell, like obviously these people exist, but some of these people were like, they're not all there. So I was like, I want to do something where I talk to people that maybe I wouldn't speak to on a daily basis, on a normal day, but I don't necessarily just want to talk to people that have just been through nothing but crazy amounts of trauma all day. I want to find out about how just the average person, how they got to where they are and what they want to do with their life and where they're trying to go. So that's where it originally came from. So I just bought a bit of stuff and just kind of started, and from there it kind of snowballed. But then COVID hit, so then I had to kind of just before I was kind of doing a bit of Zoom and a bit of live, but then couldn't really do that much live. And then I had my daughter, and then just time, you just don't really get a chance to do it. But I'm just getting back into it now. As I said, I'm the nosiest person, I can probably, if there was no one around, I'll talk to myself probably, because I don't know when to shut up. My wife deserves a medal for living with me. So yeah. In short, I was inspired by some other podcasts, and I just started. But I love it.
Yeah. Well, when you find something you enjoy, there's no point in just sitting back on it.
Very much so. Very much so. All right. Is there anything that you particularly that we didn't touch on that you wanted to touch on?
Oh, I'm not sure. I think we covered it, didn't we?
Yeah, I think so. I think we've done a bit on family. We've done a bit on love.
Yeah.
Done a bit on your dreams and aspirations. All right, I've got a question before we go. I've got a question. What if you could, I don't know, wave a magic wand and transport yourself 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, even?
Yeah.
What would your life look like? What would you be doing? Everything goes perfectly. What would you be doing?
I would like to be in my own house. I have a nice house. Be married with a child. But still chasing, like maybe having a film or two out. I'd love to go down the acting road. I'd love to do it. Whether it be a musical film or so I can dance in it, or just any film. I'd love to be in a film.
Okay. That's good. That's good to know. It's good to know. I know a couple of people that may be making films, and I've got half a script that I've written. So who knows? Down the line, put it out there. I'm sure it will come to you. All right.